Well, hello, all zodiac signs. How are you, my gorgeous ones? So, we have this full moon in Gemini that's going to be on the 22nd for some, the 23rd for others of November 2018. Um, so, in this full moon, we know what full moons are about, but if you've never seen me and don't understand what full moons are, this is when we get a chance for completions, for endings, for fate and destiny to step in, and also for us to let go of what no longer serves us so that we can continue on our path. So, welcome everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including astrology, tarot, mediumship, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my gorgeous ones, this full moon in Gemini is going to happen for me at 9 o'clock on November 22nd. It is, if you look here, the moon is here, and a full moon means that the moon is in one place and the sun is in opposition. It's a complete opposite, right? So what happens is the sun shines or it illuminates, this is another way to see it, it illuminates the already illuminated moon, right? So where it's illuminating, it's showing light, it's showing clarity, it's showing something that you hadn't seen before, to help you on your path to let go of, or to see clearly, or to take some action, or to complete, right? So, with it being in Gemini, this is about what we're thinking, this is about what we're processing, this is about the questions that we have about our path, the questions that we have about what we're doing, the questions that we have about where we're going, what is ending, what's beginning, where are we going from here, right? So that's Gemini. Gemini is very inquisitive, but Gemini also speaks a lot. They're very chatty. So they're the communicator. They're the master communicator, actually. So they're very chatty and they communicate. So this full moon is also about you wanting to communicate something either in a relationship, to the world, in your life. And depending on where the full moon hits in your chart, for each sign it's different, will depend on what area of life that particular thing is going on, right? But we have some other things going on. So I'm going to try not to talk as fast. I'm going to go over every house at the end, but I kind of wanted to let you know the other aspects of things that are going on so that you kind of understand. Okay? So with the full moon at 1 degree, you see it's at, well, it's at 0 here, but it's going to be at 1 degree in Gemini. And so the sun's going to be over here opposing, right, in Sagittarius. Well, we have this full moon to me when I'm looking at the other aspects, because we're talking about the full moon squaring Mars. If you look here, it's going to square Mars. It's going to oppose Jupiter. So this is the moon opposing Jupiter. It's squaring Mars. Then you have Mercury over here, which is its ruling planet. So that's Gemini's ruling planet. Mercury is the communicator. Mercury is the processor. Mercury brings messages. Well, it's in retrograde right now. So when I'm looking at all these aspects together, and then you have this this sextile here going on with Saturn. So there's an opportunity here to be able to, with this square, progress somehow, right? But I'll go over that in just a little bit. So when I'm looking at all of these together, the full moon squaring Mars tells me that there's some sort of action that's needing to be taken. There's some sort of transition that's going to happen. There's some sort of release, because a square is like this push and pull, like this pressure being given to you so that you can take the action, right? So that you can move forward. That's what a square is. A square is like a lot of pressure where you're having to do, it's a lot of pressure, and the only relief is to take an action. Like, that's how you're going to relieve yourself, is to take the action. That's how you're going to feel better, is to take the action. That's how you're going to release, right? Is to take some sort of action. That's what the square is doing. This opposition, to me, is asking, and this has to do with that new moon that we had in Scorpio, right? So in the new moon, we begin things. Opportunities maybe came to us. Maybe we begin them ourselves, right? Maybe we took the action. So what did you begin around that? I think it was November 7th. So November 7th. What have you begun since then? And what are you dealing with now, right? That's that full moon, that new moon in Scorpio. And so with it opposing, with the full moon opposing Jupiter, the opposition is telling me what are you needing, and then what are you wanting, right? And so these are the questions that you want to ask. What am I needing? And then what am I wanting? And which one am I going to do? Am I going to do what I want, or am I going to do what I need? And is there a way to do both? Correct? So that's what this opposition is about, where the square is about the pressure that you're getting to take the action, right? But because we're dealing with Gemini, and we're dealing with Mercury, and we're dealing with Jupiter and the Sun, this is about what's in our head. This is about the clarity that we see. So when I'm looking at all these aspects, and I'm looking at the full moon at the bigger picture, the full moon to me is about having patience, because you're going to get an inclination at this full moon about what you want to do. And obviously it's either in relationships, or a relationship with people, or a love relationship, or the situation that you have in your life with like your work or your family or whatever this is. You're going to get an inclination, but you're not going to see clearly probably until the next week, because we deal with the full moon for up to 3 or 4 weeks, right? So about 3 weeks. And so with Jupiter, the Sun, and Mercury being together, Mercury's the messenger, but it's in retrograde. Jupiter's the expander, trying to give you understanding. He is in Sagittarius. Then you have the Sun trying to give you clarity, right? So patience is going to be one of the biggest things right now. That Gemini energy wants to do it now, do it yesterday, right? But you're not going to see it clearly. You're going to see where you can kind of do it, but you're not going to see it clearly. So patience is one of the things. Then throughout, you're going to get some clarity. Then some truth is going to come out. That's the Mercury messenger, right? Because we're talking about Sagittarius, there's justice involved here. There's understanding. But with Mercury being in retrograde, this is about adjusting and really looking at it in a different way. And to me, because Mercury is retrograde, whatever you're working on, or whatever you've been working on, or whatever answer you kind of see, this may be something that you've tried before. This may be something that you've possibly tried to do before and it didn't work out. And you may be frustrated at this time, but by the next week is when you're going to get some real clarity, right? So this full moon has to deal with all of that: patience, clarity, truth, justice, action, understanding, right? And maybe going back to the table and doing something in a very different way, but taking what you've tried before and tweaking it. Does that make sense? So to me, that's what this full moon is about. I do have the full moon how to release video. I will attach it here. I do have the full moon that I did. It was the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius and full moon in Gemini that I did last year at this time. It was on November 29th. So I found that video. I'll attach it here. It does have something about a special that I did at that time that's no longer valid. But it sort of goes into the energy of Sagittarius and retrograde itself, and Gemini itself. Okay, so remember, Gemini, Sagittarius, very optimistic. Retrogrades are about amending, revising, editing. Mercury having to do with communication, having to do with electronics, having to do with that. I've already gotten a little taste of that. Phones are going to be breaking down, cars are going to be breaking down. It just kind of depends on your chart, your path, and what you believe in, and what kind of is your understanding. But the way to work in a retrograde is not to take a lot of action. Take the action if you've been working on it, but now is not the time to actually sign contracts. Now is the time to look at the contracts in a Mercury retrograde. Now is the time to revise them, amend them, and anything that you're doing. And again, you have these other aspects that are going to want you to take action. They're going to come, opportunities going to come to you where you think you need to take action. That's that Gemini energy. I would hold off taking the action just yet. And I know that sounds different because full moons are about like releasing, right? But it's because later on, like the next week, this is when Jupiter, the Sun, and Mercury are conjunct, and they're all talking to each other, and they're all right on top of each other. This is when you're going to get real clarity, real message. You know exactly what to do. And Jupiter is going to help you expand this. And so you're going to get your answers, and you're going to be able to complete it. And you're going to be able to end whatever you need to end, let go of what you need to let go of if you're working on this, right? So with, again, full moon squaring Mars to me means a release or a transformation of some sort, or a transition of some sort. But the opposing Jupiter is really looking at what do I want and what do I need, like, and because we're talking about the full moon, it can get emotional, right? And when we're dealing with emotions, we can't always see the difference between what we want and what we need, right? Because you can say, I need such and such, but really you only want that. You don't really need it. You want that, right? But you feel like you need it because you're emotionally attached to it, right? Like, I'm trying to think of, things that people say. They're like, I need a house, right? Or I need a boyfriend, or I need a husband, or I need a wife, or I need a girlfriend. You don't need them. You want those things in your life, right? You want them. You need to eat. That's a need. You need to eat. You need to stay healthy, because without your health, what do you have, right? So there's a difference between want and need, and in this opposition, you'll be sort of looking at that and what do I want and what I need. And this is a time for you to be truthful with yourself about, and it's okay to say, I want this. I don't need it. I want it. But because I want it, I'm going to get it. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a difference in want and need, right? This is that we're looking at. But I see with, and also Mars is going to be squaring Jupiter, right? So to me, this Jupiter squaring Mars again is this pressure of needing to take an action or wanting. See, there's a difference. Sorry, let me get my coffee. Wanting to take an action. Mars is like me. He's the god of war. He wants to go in. He likes to take the action and think about things later, right? Where Jupiter is very understanding. He's the teacher. He's the guru. But there's some pressure there. There's some push and pull. There's some chaos happening there where to relieve the pressure is what's going to make you feel better, right? But if you're not clear about where you need to go, just wait till like the next week or the next week where there's messages, there's some clarity coming, there's something coming for you to help you clear this up so that you really, really understand where you're going next and really, really understand about what's happened before so that you can release it, so that you can move on. That makes sense? So that kind of to me is that Jupiter square Mars. And then if you look, if you do this, when you do this, so some of you when you do this, others of you if you do this, because it's always a choice, you have the sextile here. So the sextile is like a pressure also, but it's like a excited pressure, right? I guess that's the way to explain it. It's like when somebody brings you an opportunity and you're excited about it and you automatically, you're like, yep, I'll take that. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the action. I'm not going to sit on it. Like, that's a sextile. Where a trine is a little bit lethargic. Like, an opportunity can come to you. You can say, yeah, I don't really know if I want that. I'm not really sure if that's going to pan out. It was kind of too easy coming in. That's a trine. But a sextile I like. So to me, when I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the square and I'm feeling this pressure, something needed to be done, this clarity that I'm going to see, this action I'm going to take. And when I do that, I see this opportunity with Saturn. You guys know I love Saturn. You guys know I've talked about Saturn. I have a Saturn video where we talk about the retrograde and what's coming and all of that. I'll attach that as well. either in the eye icon or at the end of the video. I always either attach them at the eye on the eye icon or at the end of the video. So I feel like when you release this, when you do something here, when you've understood here, this opposition, this square here, and you take the action, and again, Gemini and Mars are going to want you to take the action now, right? So you're going to have like this anxiety of like, I need to take the action now because I've waited too long or because I see it. But you've got more messages coming. You've got some more clarity coming in the next week. So I would hold off, be patient. That's why I included the word patience in what this full moon's about. Because you're going to get to some completions. You're going to get to some endings. You're going to have fate. You're going to have destiny step in. You're going to have this stuff, but you need to be patient, okay? It's a time for you to be patient so that you can look at everything so that you really can release. That's what I'm feeling. And when you do that, I feel like the Saturn here, the Saturn that you've been working on, the Saturn that's been like the bane of your existence, right? The Saturn, I feel like there's an opportunity for all this hard work that you've done. That's what I'm feeling with this full moon and this sextile and this square and this opposition. And then we have the next week where these are going to be right on top of each other. So whatever Mercury is about right now, it's looking within. It's about the messages coming and you really processing those, amending those, revising those. But I also feel like for many of us, this is about what we've tried to do before, and we're looking, we get clarity. So let me say this. Whatever the situation is, you may see the action that you need to take next as something that you've done before, and that may get frustrating because you're like, no, there's a different way, or maybe, or let me just, but, or you know, you're like, this is the same thing, but if you wait till the next week, I feel like there's some clarity, there's some inspiration, there's some news, there's something that comes when these three are getting together, like really close, that it helps you see it clearly so that you can end it, or see it clearly so that you can complete it, or see it clearly so that you can take the next action. So you may go into it thinking you know the answer and it's something that you've done before, you're looking at it again, like, didn't I do this before, or didn't we try this before and it didn't work out because such and such didn't do it, or I didn't do it, or whatever, right? But then I feel like the next week is where it gets clear. So you may be heading in one direction, and then all of a sudden you get a message, or somebody comes through, or something, you get inspired about something, or maybe you have a dream, because a lot of you are all of you are intuitive. You're either intuitive, empathic, psychic, even mediums, right? We all have them. We have all the clairs. Whether they're developed or not, it's kind of up to us whether we want to develop them. So this is where some of you may have the dream, or may have somebody come to you, or may have the synchronicity showing up, or may have a message of some sort. Somebody brings you a message, or somebody physical in life that's living comes and says something, right? And that's what I feel like is in the next week to help you clear this up. Does that make sense? I know I went on about that, but I kind of want to give you like an indication of what's going on. So as much as I have this video about how to release what no longer serves you, I would like for you to use that video to really get centered, so that when the message comes, when the inspiration comes, as those things are happening in the full moon to the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're very centered and you're clear and you're open to receiving it. That's what I say to use this full moon energy with, where I show you the steps to take, right? So it's not about, okay, I'm going to let it go. That's not what this is this time. Remember, Gemini is very inquisitive. Sagittarius wants to make the unknown known, right? So this isn't something that you can, in your head, say, these are the steps to take and this is what I'm going to do. No, that would just be Gemini. But because Sagittarius is in there involved, and Jupiter is in there involved, and Mars is in there involved, but because Jupiter and Sagittarius are in there involved, this is about understanding. This is about understanding it and then releasing it. And as you understand it, you are releasing it, okay? It's not like I'm going to do it in my head. It's like I'm really going to know this to be true, and this is where I'm going next. Makes sense? So, all right. So, I think I got everything. So I would say for many of you, completions, resolutions, endings aren't going to come till like the second week or the third week. Some of you, because a lot of you work early, feel the energy early, things come to you early, especially in this group. Some of you may have it this next week, or like a couple of days after. But for the most part, everybody's not going to have it till like the second, third week, right? So let's look at each sign. So Gemini, obviously, this is your full moon, my Gemmies. And so this is going to be in your first house. But the opposition with Jupiter is your seventh house. This is your house of relationships. This is where you're going to get some clarity. Now, some of you, this is about a relationship that you... Oh, God, I see this two ways. Okay, some of you, this is a relationship that you once had and don't know that you can do that again because of the trauma. This is what Jupiter's helping you understand. This is where the sun's going to give you some clarity. This is where Mercury is helping you process this. This is some of you. Then I have others of you where you're dealing with a relationship and you're learning to put these boundaries down. And I'm not talking about just love, although this is an important relationship, but I'm talking about in business, in family, in friendships. Wow, friendships. So a lot of you, it's friendships. I see. Yeah, so in friendships, because I'm seeing where a lot of you may have shut down with the love relationships, but you have these open friendships, right? And so you're learning to deal with the boundaries of that. You're learning to deal with that. And Jupiter's here to help in this next year expand this house of relationships. Do I want people around me? What type of people around me do I want? What are my boundaries? What kind of relationships do I want, right? So this is just the beginning of that. Remember, Jupiter just went into Sagittarius. So this full moon is about, in order for me to get clear about exactly what I want or how I see myself going in the future with relationships, with how I treat people, with how people treat me, with am I going to play the game or am I not going to play the game or whatever, right? You need to release some of these old things of the traumas that people have done to you, of some of the things that you've done to people, right? This is what this is. And again, this may be somebody new coming into your life who kind of maybe starts to act like an old relationship. Because remember, we're talking about something that you've tried before. Who kind of starts to begin to act like an old relationship, and it may trigger you, but it's not that. And so I don't do the Gemini thing and say, I'm done with you, and you didn't finish it out, right? Like, wait till the second or third week. Like, maybe you think you know what's going on, but you don't really know yet, right? Because it feels like something you've tried before. Like, that's what I'm getting for you guys, okay? That's all I'll say about that. Now, Cancer, this is going to be in your 12th house. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about especially because Cancer, the moon is you, and it being in your 12th house is the house of completions, the house of your past, present, and future lives. This is where everything comes through, right? This is where you get your completions. This is where you get your inspiration, and this is where your dreams become active, especially when the moon is in there for you, right? And so you may get some inspiration, you may get some clarity through a dream, you may get something going on, because if this is in your 12th house, then obviously Sagittarius is in your 6th house. You can look at it this way. The 12th house is your subconscious, your deep conscious, and your 6th house is your conscious. This is where your free will is. This is where information comes to you, the things in your life come to you, and you make the choices about the type of lifestyle that you want, right? So with the sun in there, Jupiter in there, Mercury retrograding in there in the 6th house, there's going to be some adjustment, there's going to be some understanding. But with this full moon, I feel like this is something that you may have tried before and you think you're headed in that direction, and then you get this clarity, you get this inspiration, you get this something. Yeah, like maybe you begin to work, like maybe you got a new position at work, or maybe you got a job and you really like the job, but then somebody at your job begins to behave like another person at your old job, begin to behave, and you're like, oh man, it's the same thing over and over, right? Like you thought you cleared this stuff and this person's reacting in a certain way. But then I would just take some breaths, give it a minute, because remember, Mars is in there. Mars is squaring. Mars wants you to take action. Mars is being a little brat basically right now, okay? Mars wants you to like take action. No, I'm not going to deal with that. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I refuse. No, I've cleared my life. I've done too much to clear my life. I'm not going to take this anymore, right? And what Jupiter is having you do is say, wait a minute, take a breath. Let's see. Maybe that person was having a bad day. Maybe that person eventually becomes like the greatest friend and ally in your job or in your career. But you're not going to know until that second or third week, okay? So everybody needs to take some breaths this next couple of weeks, okay? So when you do this, it helps you release. When you do this, this full moon is going to help you complete. It's going to help you release. Does that make sense? It's going to help you see things, really understand things from the feeling part of you. That yes, not everybody is the same. And yes, not all situations are the same. And yes, I have grown. And yes, I'm ready to move forward. And no, I'm no longer harboring stuff. Right? So that's what I'm seeing for you, Cancer. For Leo, this is going to be in your 11th house. So we know the 11th house is the house of gains. The 11th house is the house of networking. It's the house of internet. So if you're working in any of that, the internet groups, there's going to be some miscommunication, I feel, because Mercury is retrograde. But with this full moon here, there is something that you're needing to understand, release, let go of, or complete, okay? So if it's in your 11th house, then Sagittarius is in your 5th house of something that you created, right? So maybe you begin something you created or with your children. So there's this understanding, there's this growth having to do with either your children or something that you created from your heart. Maybe it's a business that you have on the side. Maybe it's a business that you work in. Whatever this is, it could have to do with, your coworkers too. So whatever this is, be careful. Be careful. I'm seeing where this Mars is here. And if you look, Mars is so this is your 11th house. The full moon's in your 11th house, 10th, 9th, 8th. This is other people's money. So if you work dealing with other people's money, be very careful, because you're going to want to take action very quickly. You need to wait. You need to really wait, let yourself get inspired, let yourself see clearly, and then take the action. Remember, Mars is going to want you to do it now, but you need to sort of take a break, take a breath, right? But there's something that you're releasing. When it all ends, when you get the clarity, you're going to be able to get it very clearly so that you can complete it or move it to the next level, right? That's Jupiter. That's Mercury. It's going to feel like maybe you've tried this before and it didn't work last time, and why are you trying it again, right? You're getting frustrated. But you need to just chill, okay? So that's this full moon. Then Virgo. So Virgo, this is going to be in your 10th house. So your 10th house is your life purpose, is your career, is your accolades, is your public life, right? It's the things that you do out in the world. So this full moon, there is something completing. There's some fate and destiny. There's something coming in here or having you understand to release, right? But if this is in your 10th house, so this is going to be in your 4th house, right? So Jupiter's in your 4th house, the sun's in your 4th house, Mercury's in your 4th house. So Mercury retrograde, there's this adjustment, amending of this processing of what's going on that makes me feel safe. What's going on that's going to make me feel happy? What do I need to adjust? Jupiter wants to expand this house for you to help you feel safe and comfortable and happy, and maybe having to do with your family or your lineage or where you came from, right? But the sun here is going to give you clarity when it moves close to Jupiter and Mercury together in that next week, the next couple of weeks after the full moon. But the full moon is going to give you something to release. So there is somebody or some project or something either completing or you're going to have to let go. There is maybe some harboring of emotions that you need to let go, because this opposition, remember, what do I want? What is it that I'm wanting? And what is it that I'm needing, right? Do I really, really need to work with this person? Or do I really, really need to harbor these feelings against this coworker, or this thing that I didn't get, or this project that I didn't get? Do I really, or should I just move on, right? Is this really serving me? That's kind of that's going on. But remember, you have the square here with Mars, so it's going to make you want to take action. Like, I'm so frustrated, I'm tired of this. It's looking like it did last time. Last time I had this person did what they did, and it was horrible, and now I have to work with them again. Like, I'm just kind of getting scenarios. And so I'm just going to go and say that I'm not going to do this project because I'm not dealing with somebody like that, right? But it could be that you misconstrued it. It could be that you don't have the whole picture yet. It could be that your boss has said they want this person to do this particular thing, but the way that this person communicates doesn't know how to communicate well to you, so there's a misunderstanding. Where you go to the boss and say, I'm not dealing with this person, and they're saying, well, they're only doing what I told them to do, right? So be very, very careful. Take a lot of breaths, and understand that the weeks after is when you're going to get some clarity, right? That's just a scenario. So good luck, Virgo. Now, in Libra. So Libra, obviously this is going to be in your 9th house. So with your 9th house, this is your understanding, your belief system. This could be about travel, long distance travel, or this could be about dealing with foreign people. And with Gemini in there, it could be a lot with dealing with foreign people, because Sagittarius is there too. With Sag opposing Gemini, Sagittarius is all about foreign people, foreign lands, if you're dealing with foreign lands. But this is an understanding. This is letting go or completing something so that you can move on to your next thing. But there's a release here. And with 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, did I say Virgo was, no, I'm right, 4. So Libra, this is 1, 2, 3. So Libra with Sun and Jupiter and Mercury being in your 3rd house, which is the Gemini house. So basically, the 3rd house is the Gemini house that has Sagittarius in it. The 9th house is, if you look here, 12, 11, 10, 9. The 9th house is the Sagittarius that has Gemini in there. Does that make sense? So they're trying, those 2 houses for you are really trying to grow in understanding, really trying to understand. So in your 3rd house, the Sun and Jupiter are in there. Jupiter wants to expand this. So more work comes to you. So more, so that you can solidify. Maybe you're trying to get more stable. Maybe co-workers, maybe more family, maybe more something, right? Jupiter's going to expand this house in this year. With Mercury there, there's something that you're needing to understand. And maybe, because it's your 3rd house, having to do with either writing, communicating, the media, co-workers, neighbors. It's like a very busy house. So it's got to do with a lot of things. But I feel like maybe something looks like you tried it before and it didn't really work out. And maybe it's looking like the same thing again, but because that's this Mars here. But there's some action that you're going to need to take eventually, but don't do it just yet. I would wait, take a breath, understand that people are going to agitate you right now. You may have a lot of miscommunication in this house because Mercury is the ruler of this house, and Mercury is retrograding in this house for you. So I would say that you're probably going to feel Mercury retrograde a lot. You're probably going to have issues with electronics or cars or anything that you communicate with. You could have a lot of issues with that right now. So, but there's something that's needing to be released. There's something that you're going to say here in your 9th house. What do I want, or what do I need, and which one am I going to do? Do I really need this in my life? Do I really need this person in my life? Do I really need this situation in my life? Do I really need to do this right now, right? Or do I really want this person in my life? Do I really want this situation? Do I really want to do this? Right? Does that make sense? Okay. But you have Venus in your house right now. So Venus, it's just turned direct, and it's going to go forward, and it's going to leave your house. But at 26 degrees, it should be producing money. It should be producing love. It should be producing luck in here right now. Because to me, anything from the 23rd, 24th degree onto the 30th begins to produce. Even though it had retrograded in your house, it's now forward. But this is things that you had worked on before. So things are looking up for you. Just don't get frustrated in this house of chaos where there's it's really, really busy. And understand that even if you don't see it clearly now, you're going to be able to see it in a couple of weeks, okay? Because remember, if you do this, you have this opportunity of what you've been working on right here with this sextile of Saturn, with this Mars, okay? So if you take the action when the time comes and you see it clearly, there's an opportunity to get what you're really wanting. And for you, that's in your 4th house of what makes me happy, what makes me feel stable, what makes me feel comfortable, okay? So now, Scorpio, my darlings, this is going to be in your 8th house, right? So 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. So this full moon in your 8th house, there's a releasing, a completion. There's something needing to, some sort of understanding needing to come about mentally that's going to come about. Yeah, an understanding. Having to do with other people's money, right? So other people's money, other people's resources, or shared resources. Maybe it's your spouse, maybe it's a boyfriend, maybe it's a live-in. Maybe it's you and a friend, right, who share resources. It's other people's money. There's a completion here. There's an ending here. There's something going on here. And it has to do with the money that you earn, too. So other people's money and the money that you earn. This may feel like you've done this before and you've tried to do this and it didn't work out. But in this next couple of weeks after the full moon is when you need to sort of renegotiate or understand or take an action, but don't do it until you see it clearly. Don't assume that because it looks like it did before that it is what it was before. That's what I'm getting, okay? So the sun's going to be here, Jupiter's going to be here, Mercury's retrograde here. So there's something about the way that you earn your money plus how you value yourself that's going to help release this that no longer serves you in other people's resources or shared resources that you've done. Does that make sense? So there's something coming about where you're completing something that's going to make you feel better eventually. Just don't do the Mars thing and take an action right away, and then all of a sudden, you know, you're mad and yeah, and then even harbor these horrible feelings, and that's not even what really happened, right? But maybe you think it was what was going to happen because something like that's happened before, right? So that's that square Mars right here, right? But remember, there's an opportunity here. So that's you, Scorpio. Now, my beautiful Saggies, this is going to be in your 7th house, right? This full moon is going to be in your 7th house. But your understanding, Mercury is retrograding in your house, so this is within you. This is amending, adjusting, revising, really looking at it again, right? Jupiter's helping you expand. Jupiter is your ruling planet, and the sun's going to come here and clear this up. So for some of you, it may feel like this phase of because this is what I'm getting. This phase of my life I thought I was done with. How can I get over this hump? How can I get over this hump, right? And that's that opposition. That's that square Mars in Pisces. Okay, that's that square Mars where it's going to feel like, and because Mercury's retrograde, it's the Mercury retrograde with that Piscean energy in Mars that's going to make it feel or even look like you've done this before and it's going in that direction and you don't want to do that again, right? That's how you feel. But you have to take a breath, continue to have the faith that you do, relax and know that in the weeks coming, you're going to get clarity. You're going to get a message. Something's going to happen. This full moon is going to help you release these relationships, these things, this whatever's been going on for you, right? So you're releasing some sort of relationship or completing some sort of relationship. Could be your relationship to money. Could be your relationship to understanding how your life was. Could be, like, it's a lot of things for a lot of you, because I feel like this is more on a soul level. Could be on a, yeah, some of you it's on the physical level where it's a relationship that you've been trying to, yeah, I see some of you try to bring somebody back. So it could be that, everything was hunky-dory and this time it's starting to go the way that it used to go. But wait till you get some clarity, okay? Wait till this thing comes about. Wait till you get some clarity before you take the action. The reason I say this, Saggy, is because what's in your second house, right? This opportunity, this sextile right here. If you do this square right, if you do this pressure and take your breaths and wait and see the whole picture so that you can have a complete understanding. When you release, Saturn's going to gift you. There's an opportunity here, okay? So it's this thing that you need to, like, you're knowing, understanding, right? It's this thing that you need to release. Because you're right. Actually, you're right. You're right. What I'm saying is that you're right, and what they're saying is that you're right. It is going to get you to the next level. And what's coming, or what you're dealing with now, does look like what's happened before. But it's doing it for a reason so that you can completely understand and completely release so that you can move forward. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You guys understand me, so. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. Okay, so, good luck, Sad. You got a lot of stuff coming. You do. I know. I keep saying that. So, my beautiful Cappies. So, Capricorn, the full moon is going to be in your second, third, fourth, and your fifth house of love affairs. So, for some of you, it is time. I do feel like that, yeah. It is time to release this. I don't know that you would call it a love affair, but it is a love affair. Maybe this person that you begin this love affair with, because I see it as dating. I don't see it as, but I don't know how to say this. So for some of you, I'll just say this. For some of you, there is a person that you're needing to complete this with, right? What I'm getting, though, and this is for some of you, not all of you, is that this person, because you're going to see some clarity here in your 12th house, which means your 12th house is activated. It's going to grow. Something's going to come in here. You guys have a lot of things coming through this 12th house this next year. But with Mercury there's some sort of processing. So I'm going to say this. If you're dating somebody and for the first time you really liked a person, this person came into your life and you didn't think you ever wanted to date again, but now you're dating and you really like this person. And then somehow or another y'all are going to let go of each other, right? Like maybe that person decides to leave, or that person does something to you, or it looks like it did like another relationship that you had and you don't want to do that. Like whatever this is, don't fault them. This is what this understanding is. Don't fault them, because they were here to open your heart, because your heart hadn't been opened in a long time, right? Even if it was just friendship. That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like don't fault them. There are much bigger things at play, and they came in here just to open the heart. Not to have the complete relationship with you forever, but just to open the heart. That's some of you. That's not all of you, right? Because with this 12th house activated, I feel karma. I feel like they've come in to open this heart for you so that you can have that person for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's what I feel like. But whatever happens with this square, remember, take a breath with your Cappy so you know how to. Take your breath, relax, wait until you get all the information in the next couple of weeks, right? Because when you do this, Daddy Saturn, I love Daddy Saturn. He's going to gift you. He's going to help you. There's an opportunity here for something that you've been working through. This is in your third house. So good luck with that. But there's a message. There's something coming through here that's going to help you release this. Yeah, that's the thing that I'll say. Okay, so Aqua, Aquarius. This is going to be in your second, third, fourth house. So this is, well, a lot of you. So this is about how do I feel, what makes me happy, what makes me feel stable, what makes me feel comfortable, what makes me feel secure, right? And so there is this release, completion, understanding, letting go of something that is going to be happening for you over the next 3 weeks. Some of you 4 because you're stubborn. But this has to do with groups. Well, it has to do with how you feel stable, secure, comfortable, happy, right? But there is some news, there's some growth, there's something coming through this 11th house of groups, of the internet. Oh, some of you it is the internet. Some of you it's this business that you started. Some of you it's this business that you started. You're going to have to reevaluate, do something. There's something coming. Because I feel like this release is this release of not having, this release of being so tired and fed up you don't want to do it. This release of depression or anxiety. That's what I feel like the release is, but I feel like you get it when you get this. Does that make sense? I feel like this not having the, I don't know how to say this, it's not the wherewithal, it's like not having the oomph to get this done because you're so tired and you've been working and things aren't going your way, and then you cause yourself some depression and anxiety and some anger and some da 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 da, right? And so I feel like it's the release of that, but that's on an emotional level. There may be some physical level of release of lack. Like you actually get things and things come about and something happens that changes your life, right? And it has to do with this group, this networking, this internet, this thing that supports your life purpose, your career, your accolades, your whatever, right? So I feel like there's some news coming here. So I feel like you may be in a spot at the full moon where you're like, it's like not changing, it's happening again, I'm doing the same freaking thing, nothing's going on. Like I could see some frustration and anger and sadness and depression and anxiety. I feel all that. And then what I want you to do is take some breaths. And what I want you to do is, like some of you want to get, you're going to get so frustrated that you're going to make the move and you're going to be like, nah, 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 nah. And you need to like relax and wait till it gets clear for you in that following week or 2. Okay? Because you can be patient, so it's time to be patient. Because when you do that, there is this opportunity here. But this release is this release of lack, of depression, of anxiety, of not having, of not trusting, of not knowing, of not, like, it's just this lack, right? And I feel like that's going to be released for you. Emotionally, you're going to feel better when this becomes clear. And then you have this opportunity. Does that make sense? Okay. So, Pisces, you've got Mars in there. So Pisces, you've got Mars in your house, right? But this full moon is going to happen 2nd, 3rd, 4th in your 4th house. Did I say that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry. So the full moon, Aquarius, is going to happen in your 5th house. But it doesn't matter what I just said because I was getting that from Spirit. So still hold on to what I was saying, Aquarius. But the 5th house is about this thing that you created, right? The 5th house is about this, and this message, this thing that's coming is in your 11th house. I just had the full moon, what you're releasing in your 4th house instead of your 5th house. So your 5th house is something that you created, something that comes from your heart. It could be dealing with your children, but whatever this is, I still get the same thing. I still get that you're releasing this lack, you're releasing this understanding, you're releasing this thing that you've worked on that hasn't come through, right? That's the 5th house, something that you've created, something that comes from your heart. There's this understanding or completion that's coming through here. having to do with this, your 11th house, your groups, the internet. Same thing I was telling you before. The only thing is and it's at 0, so it could come from either one for you guys. Yeah, I'm feeling the same thing. I'm going to go with the same thing because I'm feeling the same thing. All right, so Pisces, this is going to be in your first, second, third, fourth house, right? So your fourth house is what I was saying to Aquarius. The fourth house is what makes you feel happy, what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel secure, what makes you feel comfortable, right? So this full moon is about completing something in there, releasing something in there, letting go of something in there, understanding something in there, emotionally understanding something in there. And the opposition is, so the Sun and Jupiter and Mercury are going to be in your 10th house, right? 12th, 11th, 10th. So in your 10th house, you're going to be receiving, this could be about a job, this could be about a position, this could be about your life purpose taking a different direction. But this may feel like something that you've tried before or that you were looking at before or didn't work out before. And I feel like in that the weeks following after the full moon is when you're going to get some clarity. Mercury is retrograde in this house, so I would say, especially since the square Mars is here, when we're talking a square Mars in your 10th house, be careful how you interpret the way that people say things to you and how you say things to people, because Mercury, with being the communicator and it being your life purpose, your career, your job, all of that, where you get your accolades, if you don't focus this Mars, you can end up losing a contract, losing a job, getting into trouble with your boss or maybe even the boss's boss. So just be very careful. It may look like something, but I feel like in the following weeks it's going to clarify something for you so that you can release this. There's something that you're needing to release. So I'm feeling for you guys in the 4th house, it's about these boundaries, like putting boundaries down, really saying what you want, understanding that you're part of being human, understanding that you have every right to the riches and the lifestyle and the things that you want. You do, even though you have a bigger understanding of God and source and the universe and humanity itself. Like even though you have this understanding we're all one, I feel like there's this release of knowing that you deserve something, knowing that you have every right to it as well. But I feel like there'll be some clarity coming here in this 10th house. I know that went off, but that's what I was feeling. So just be careful with the square here, because when it looks like what it is, or when it looks like something that you think you've done before, or it looks like something that happened in the past, it may frustrate you to want to stop it then or do something then, but I would wait until the next week or the next, because that's when you're going to get some clarity. That's when something's going to come about. That's when there's going to be some message coming in, or you may actually get it through like a friend that comes in, or synchronicity or something like that, that helps you release this. That makes sense? Okay. All right. So Aries, this is going to be in your 3rd house. So Gemini in the 3rd house, that's Gemini's house. So this full moon is going to be about releasing, completing, understanding something emotionally, having to do with your skills, what you've worked on, maybe the neighbors, maybe you're dealing with coworkers, maybe you're dealing with neighbors, maybe you're dealing with administration stuff. There's something that you're needing to complete, let go, understand in this house. And it has to do with, this is 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th. This is higher learning. So this is a skill that you've learned or are learning. A lot of you, it's a new skill that you've been learning. There's a completion. Some of you may be completing a degree or a license or a test of some sort. So I feel like because it looks like, when this full moon happens, it may look like what you've done before. Just don't get into that anxiety ridden, I know what it is, I know, and you don't know, right? So, because you probably will know if you get centered, but if your ego gets involved, which it can, then you won't really know because you'll be blinded by your ego. So wait till a week after or the week after when you get some clarity here, Mercury, Jupiter, the Sun, to take the action to do something. Mars is your ruling planet. You're going to want to take action, but to be able to release this, but you need to wait till you get all the information. And this has to do, again, with your third house and your ninth house, right? So your third house being this administration, this new skill, this dealing with neighbors or coworkers or your family, siblings, and then this ninth house of higher learning, understanding, long distance travel, foreign people. Something is going to clear up here. But remember this square Mars, and this is in your 12th house, that Mars is your ruling planet, so take some breaths. Take a lot of breaths and just be patient. Be very patient because it's going to clear up for you and you're going to know what to do, and then you're going to release it, okay? So last but certainly not least is Taurus. So Taurus, this is going to be in your second house, so there is some understanding, some completion, some letting go of having to do with the money you earn or the valuables you have around you. So some of you, it's actual valuables that you have around you. If you're dealing with a divorce or separation, you are going to be letting go of something. It's money that you earn, could be completing something, letting go of something. That's what I'm seeing. But I kind of feel like you're doing what Aries is doing, and you're like, this always happens, and I know this is what's going to be, and I'm getting shafted, and da-da-da-da. And what I'm saying is, and that's Mars. That's Mars and squaring Jupiter, right? So what I'm saying is just wait till you get all the information. Wait a week or so before you go do something that you probably are going to regret later because you didn't see the whole picture, okay? So there is something that you're releasing here in the second house. Second house is the value you have to yourself, what makes you feel valuable, the valuables that you have around, or the money that you earn. There is a completion. Some of you, there is a letting go. Some of you, there is an understanding, right? Well, all of you, there's an understanding, but some of you, there's actual physical letting go of valuables, physical letting go of money you earn, or physical of letting go the value that you understand about yourself, right? So you may understand this lack of value, and then you receive this value, understanding yourself better, right? That makes sense? But it has to do with this over here, the Sun, this Jupiter, this Mercury retrograde, and that's in your 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, 8th. So other people's money and your money, right? Other people's money. That's what I feel like. I feel like don't get mad when this happens. Whatever happens, the news you may not feel like you like, or you may feel like the story's going in one direction because you've done this before and you're not doing this again, and da-da-da-da, it's looking like it was before. But I feel like you're going to get very clear in the next couple weeks, and this has to do with other people's money or shared resources. A lot of you are dealing with divorce or separation, or even if y'all were living together, it's like the splitting up of stuff. That's what I'm feeling. And there's some adjustment here. There's some processing here. There's some growth, because in the end, Jupiter's going to expand this house. So if it's about business, you may have to let go of a business partner to be able to expand your company and receive a bigger business partner that helps you go even further, right? And that's just one scenario, but that's throughout the year that this is happening. But for right now, this is the release of something. Yeah. But this Mars is going to want you to like take action and do it because you think you know better. But just wait. Wait till you get the clearer picture. Okay? Does that make sense? All right, my gorgeous ones. I hope I helped. I love you, love you, love you. Please be sure to like, share, subscribe. It really helps my channel. I'm trying to get to, I want to get to 100,000 subscribers this year. I don't ask enough to be able to have you guys subscribe. I always forget that part. But if you can help me out, that would be great. So I love you, love you, love you. I will talk to you soon. Bye.